I wish I could share a taste with all of you. It is so good. Welcome back to the homestead and my kitchen. Today's video is going to be one of my favorites to not only make but can, and it's chicken vegetable soup. We are big soup eaters in this house, especially in the winter time. I love soup. I love having pint jar size of soup for my husband to grab and go, and he can just heat it up at work. Much healthier, and I can control what is in it, and more importantly, what is not in it. Mainly, I can control the amount of salt that is used in a recipe. I have high blood pressure. Unfortunately, side effect of chemotherapy. It is controlled through medication, but I still watch my salt intake. We've also switched what kind of salt we use. We just use the Himalayan sea salt. I am hoping to switch over to the Redmond sea salt eventually, but we have a lot of Himalayan sea salt to get through. But it is definitely a healthier choice than the processed iodized white salt that you get. So that has helped, and Himalayan sea salt has also been known to lower blood pressure. So just a little tidbit. The recipe I'm going to be using today is from the new Ball 140th canning book. There's just one thing different, of course, because you know it's a Lynn video, so there's going to be a little something different. I am also canning this during the pantry challenge that I am participating in that Third Rivers Homestead host. So that means I can't go to the store and buy some of the ingredients maybe that I need for canning. And those ingredients are like fresh carrots, fresh celery, things like that. But I have a big, beautiful bag of organic frozen vegetables that I pick up at Costco, and I use it mainly in my canning recipes. It's a good price, it's organic, everything's already chopped for me. It's got all the vegetables we like in a soup or a pot pie or a stew. It's already ready, so I will be using that in place of the fresh carrots and celery. I also don't have fresh celery, but I do have dehydrated celery that I dehydrated from my garden last year, and that will just rehydrate in the chicken broth that we're going to be heating up here in a few minutes. That's the only thing different, and I am going to add a couple of spices. We like some basil and some oregano and some garlic in our soup, so we'll be adding them, but the processing time is going to be the same. I'm using the same amount of chicken, the same amount of chicken broth. This recipe supposedly does 7 pints. We'll see. I have 8 or 9 jars ready. I've already heated them up. They are, if you can see, my electric pressure canners. I have both out today, and the other one behind me, because they only hold 5 pint jars, wide mouth pint jars. So if this makes 7, I want to get this all done at once. So I have both going. There's hot jars in both of these right now, staying warm, because it's going to take us 30 to 45 minutes to get all this recipe together before we start filling the jars. So I guess we better get started. I'll meet you at the stove. So I want to mention I roasted 2 whole chickens last night for this recipe, let them cool in the refrigerator overnight, and I shredded up all the chicken this morning, so that's done. I also have already sauteed 2 big cloves of garlic and about a 1/4 cup of onion with some butter, and I browned that all up, and I'm going to get this turned back on. And we are going to add 2½ cups of chicken stock. I have 1 cup of dehydrated celery, 2 cups of my mixed vegetables. This will equal what's in the recipe. Ball calls for 1 cup of carrots, I believe it is, 1 cup of celery, and then you know, some peas and all. So it all equals. So we're working with about 2 cups of vegetables and 1 cup of celery. I think they have green beans in the recipe, peas, all of that is in my mixed vegetable medley here, so that's so much more convenient. and it's something I can have on hand whenever I want. Now we're gonna add 2 cups of shredded chicken. And now I'm gonna just add my spices. So I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of my Himalayan sea salt. About a teaspoon of basil, and the same for oregano, and then I'll taste this. We're gonna let this simmer for a half hour. I'll taste it, and if it needs a little more salt or a little more basil or oregano, I'll add it. And we are just gonna let this simmer. And it's gonna smell so good in my kitchen here in a few minutes. And we'll taste it in a half hour. And if it's good to go, we will start canning. See you in 30 minutes. It tastes so amazing. It needed no more additional salt, spices, nothing. It is so good, and it smells so good. I wish I could share a taste with all of you. It is so good. So we just took my jars out of my canners. They're nice and hot. I got my funnel. I checked all my jars, made sure there was no cracks or chips. I washed up my lids, got my rings ready, and we are ready to start canning this amazing chicken vegetable soup. We need to leave 1 inch headspace. Okay, we're ready to start pressure canning. So pints are 75 minutes. If you're gonna use quarts, it's 90 minutes. Jar valves the right way. And we're gonna fill the other one. Bad. 7 pints, just like the recipe said, and I had just the smallest amount left over, and I haven't had lunch yet. So there's my lunch. It is so good. The celery rehydrated beautifully in that broth. This is so good. So 75 minutes, then we take them out, we let them sit for 24 hours, and then we wipe them down and we check the rings. And I want to show you on a jar of chicken pot pie mix without flour that I did. I want to show you how I check to see if my seals have sealed. It's scary, but if it seals, you'll definitely know. After I've wiped it all down, and I just take a cloth with a little bit of soap, wipe them all down, and then I rinse them under some cool water, warmish water, and then just let them dry on my mat, and then I mark them and put them on my drawers, on my shelves. So just pick it up by the lid, boom. Obviously wait 24 hours before trying that. That is a true and tried method to make sure your lid's really sealed on those jars. Okay, I'm gonna eat my lunch and we're gonna let this go, and we'll wait for it to depressurize on its own. I'll crack the lid for a few minutes just to give the jars a few more minutes to come down to temperature, and then we'll put them on our canning mat, and that will be it for today's Canuary 2025 video. I also want to mention I don't think I mentioned it in my last video when I did my pressure canning or even my water bath canning. I always have a shelf. In my water bath canner, I use the shelf from my old Presto pressure canner. I put that in the bottom, and these come with a couple of different kinds of shelves you can use. You never want to put your jars right onto the bottom of your canners, whether they're electric or stovetop pressure canners or your water bath canner, because the impact of that can damage your jars, and you do not want to have that happen in a big batch that you're canning. Believe me, been there, done that, not fun. So make sure that you, even with something under it, it can still happen, because your jar could have a flaw that you don't know about. But please make sure you have, if you don't have a shelf, even a towel you can put in the bottom, anything like that. A cake pan, if it will fit, you could turn it upside down and put that in there, or leave it upside right if you want. But just something in the bottom of your canners to make sure your bottom of your jars aren't touching the bottom of the canner with nothing in between. Okay, I'm gonna go eat this yummy soup and wait for my pressure canners to get done doing their job. Jars of delicious, healthy chicken vegetable soup to go onto my pantry shelves. I cannot put into words how happy these jars make me. Thanks for joining me again, friends, as we're canning our way through January and making delicious recipes without going to the grocery store, because still part of the pantry challenge. Until then, take care, God bless, and we'll see you all soon.